Hi everyone, Brett and Marie for session 16. And today we're going to be talking to you about how we get our needs met outside of the relationship, causing big problems inside the relationship, which we want to avoid. Now, it's obvious that we all have emotional needs. We have lots of needs. There's a guy called Maslow back in the 1940s, and he came up with a set of needs that we all have. So we've known about these needs for years at the emotional level, things like just pure survival.
And as time's gone by and our society has changed, these needs have been modified to fit into the growing society.
Now, some of those needs differ between men and women. Like guys want to be appreciated and women want to be understood. So in a relationship, we have to really get to grips with this and really see it and understand it. But we want to pinpoint and highlight for you how these things occur in a relationship. So when they happen in yours, you can recognize what's going on and use it as an alarm bell for yourself to go, oh my God, I'm getting my needs met outside the relationship, or the other person is, and then being able to recognize and not go, you're getting your needs met outside the relationship. That doesn't work as a communication strategy, but instead recognizing, okay, they're getting their needs met outside. How can I help them get their needs met with us?
And for long-term success, that's really important. It's a really important recognition.
Absolutely. If you can't see that in a relationship, you know, one of the first principles we talk about in our Ignite Leadership Seminar is being able to see it as it is. And in these 29 videos, what we're looking to do is enable you to see a lot of things that perhaps you haven't seen in the relationship before.
Not seeing it better than what it is, or not seeing it worse than what it is, but seeing it how it is.
Exactly. Essential skill. So what are the areas where we can get these needs met? Well, the first area is work. In this day and age, we all lead very, very busy lives, and it's very easy for us to get those needs met at work.
So hence the term a workaholic. And what that's telling you is they're getting a lot of their needs met through work.
So they get their socialising need met at work. They can get their attention need met at work.
Their significance
need met at work.
And their love, you know, they can feel wanted at work.
Yeah.
Or at home, maybe they don't feel that.
And they're probably settling for connection at work rather than real love. And a lot of people will do that in relationships. They'll simply settle for a connection rather than true, passionate love, which is what we all really want. So it's very easy for one partner when things aren't going well in the relationship and we're not having those real emotional conversations.
Intimacy. Intimacy.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then go and get that at work. So keep a watch out for that one. One of the other ways is just being simply really busy. If things aren't going well in the relationship and I don't want to face the problems, hey, there's lots of stuff I can do.
And you can be busy with trivia. You know, there's always something in your house to do.
Yes.
If you've got kids, it won't stop. So, you know, people can be busy with trivia. And women can really buy into this one, where they're constantly, they never sit with the family and read a book, or never sit and watch a TV programme because they're in the kitchen. So, you know, trivia and busyness can be a need they go to.
So when you recognise that things aren't going well, it's the first step. You know, what's not right in the relationship? You probably haven't sat down for a while and had a real heart-to-heart, an intimate conversation with your partner. That starts to avoid you wanting to either be at work or be busy. But if you recognise you're starting to get really, really busy, you need to slow down and go, okay, hang on, what's going on here? I'm not getting my need met from my partner. I'm not spending enough time with them doing the things we need to do. So let's slow down. Now, the other way you can keep busy is socialising. Very easy.
And there's a pattern with some couples that they're only really together when they're in a group. So they either constantly have people over or they're constantly going out. and time by themselves, when it's just the two of them, there's not much of, and they don't really like it. And when they are together, they feel there's not much to talk about.
Yes, they've always got to have other people around them, because when they're together, it feels awkward. And you know the thing about having an intimate or a real conversation is, initially it's going to feel awkward.
Yeah.
There's that moment of silence, or those moments of silence. But once you create the space,
Yes.
that's when you start to find the conversation will start to flow.
Yes. And another area is with family and friends. We can always get our needs met, especially women, somewhere else. You know, we can get a lot of our needs met through our girlfriends. So, you know, we can have coffee, we can have those in-depth conversations, we can have that intimacy. And that's okay to have that. But when it's replacing what you've got at home, then it becomes an issue.
Yes. So all the things we're talking about right now in each of these areas, of course you're going to have them in your life. You'll know yourself when it's out of balance. You're spending too much time at work. You're keeping yourself too busy. You're socialising too much. You're seeing your friends too much.
You're getting your fulfillment, your intimacy from your girlfriends, not at home.
Yeah. And say in a culture like Ireland or in Italy or somewhere like that, you can spend a lot of time with your family. And that can also provide those needs for you that you really should be getting in a relationship. Because if you're not getting them here, what tends to happen and will happen over an extended period of time, divorce.
And they need to be met. You know, all these needs need to be met. So if you're not meeting them here, you are going to go outside. Now, we're not saying you don't go outside and meet some of these needs, or you don't see family, or you don't socialise. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is, get the needs met here. Into me see. It is the most satisfying, beautiful place when you work together to meet these needs. Then outside that,
and it's got to be in balance. It's got to be so that you get the needs met here primarily, and obviously you want to socialise. Obviously you want to have friends and family around. But even when they're around, the needs are still being met here at the emotional level. The focus is here. The time is here. The presence is here. And no different with your kids. I mean, girls, sorry, but this is one area where you can get a lot of your needs met instead of meeting those emotional needs with your husband.
Yeah, and you know, especially for women, they can get a lot of their needs met through the children. So, you know, the husband's on the back burner, and again, it's not teaching the kids how to have a healthy relationship. The kids won't miss out if you're meeting your needs and letting love flow over to the children.
And there's nothing worse for a teenage boy or girl where either the wife or the husband is getting their emotional needs met and virtually emotionally treating their kids like they're their partner. Particularly if you're a single parent. You know, that can easily happen where they're meeting your emotional needs as an intimate person in your life rather than you having to go through the time, trouble and tension to actually find someone in your own life. Mm-hmm. But if you are with your partner, that can still happen in the relationship if the needs aren't being met here. Where, you know, as the guy perhaps can get his need met through one of his daughters or even with his son at an emotional level of connection instead of making it here with your intimate partner. So watch out for that. If that's happening in your relationship, you need to turn around and correct it and get the balance right in the relationship. Another area that we've seen a lot in relationships is where one partner has a recurring illness.
Mm-hmm. And we all have heard of the hypochondriac, you know, and what does the hypochondriac get out of being sick? Well, they get a lot of attention and love and care, which they might not get if they weren't sick. So be aware if there's a sickness in the family. Be aware that a lot of the needs are not being met through that area. Sometimes we're sick, so there's a difference. We're talking about someone who's getting their needs met through being sick.
Yes, obviously there are people who are genuinely sick.
Yes.
We're talking about someone who's got a recurring illness and they're not able to really deal with it in the right way, and it's really something like being a hypochondriac. and their need is being met through that, but that is taking away from their partner. And if you see that in your own relationship, you probably need some outside assistance to help work your way through that one. And another area that's very easy, again, to get our needs met through is when the relationship's not good, let's go to alcohol, cigarettes, some form of drugs, some form of addiction, effectively. These days, see a lot of guys particularly go to the PlayStation or the Xbox, spending a lot of time there. And again, we're not saying, guys, that you shouldn't have one of those. Nothing wrong with that at all. But when it becomes an obsession or an addiction, it's a substitute because you're really not getting the things that you need in the relationship.
And if you are making a choice where I'm going to play the PlayStation less, I'm going to be with my wife, or, you know, I'm not taking drugs on the weekend, I want to focus on being present for the family. If you're dealing with some sort of addiction or a socialised addiction, even where you have to go out all the time, if you're dealing with an addiction, remember, relapse is part of recovery. So if you are going along fantastic and you fall off your bike, just get back on it. It's just better making a choice, get back on it and go on your way again. Because relapse is part of recovery.
Yeah. So what's the solution to this? Well, the solution is to recognise that we have these basic needs in the first place. And if we're not getting those met here, we're going to go outside the relationship. The moment that you do that, the moment that you look for some other vehicle besides this, you are setting your relationship up for a failure. And that's exactly what's going to happen. It's going to collapse on you, and the cost is way too high. The cost on yourself, the cost on your family, your kids. It's just way too high. So we have to recognise that we have two basic needs. We have a need for love in our lives.
And women have a need to be understood.
Yes.
Listened to.
Yeah. So that comes to the main need of love and attention. And under attention, women need to be listened to. And guys, hey, we like to be appreciated, as we've discussed before. So you have to be able as a woman to convey your appreciation to your partner.
And sometimes it's just, you know, like, thanks for taking me to the movies. That was a great movie. It can be small, but men really love a thank you.
We certainly do. It's like if we take you to a good movie, and we might let you know, but did you enjoy that? Oh, good. That was me. I did that.
Believe it or not, they do that.
And it's universal. Like we run, obviously, our seminars. We've told you about those before. And we literally have hundreds of people in there. And we'll ask all the guys in the room, you know, do you enjoy being appreciated? Absolutely. Everyone's hand goes up. Guys, do you like to keep your partner happy? Is it great if your woman is happy? Consistently, all the guys put their hands up. So these patterns that we're talking about are consistent patterns for men and women. When you recognise these in a relationship and you know that she's not being understood, that's when she comes to you and says, we need to talk. She wants to make sure that you're going to understand her first. That's why she's coming to you. And likewise for guys, it's really important that we feel we're doing a good job, that you appreciate us. So we're like puppy dogs, you know, pat us. When we get it right, tell us that we're getting it right, because that'll encourage us to want to come and continue to make you happy. Because one of the big dynamics that happens in a relationship in this area that we're talking about is that if we're not appreciated, if we don't feel like we're making progress in seeing you happy, girls, then we quit. That's when we stop.
That's after a long time of trying.
Yep. So recognise that, make sure that she's getting a lot of understanding and he's getting a lot of appreciation. Thanks so much for being with us again, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now.